Can you
Where
hear me
are you?
okay?
Oh, it's a .club sign.
No,
Yes.
Doing some
No, in
advertising.
3 hours it's gonna be club time, yeah.
So what's the name? Super.
Ah, yeah, it's my website, superdomains.co.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
I sent you some questions in the email.
Yeah, let me just pull it up 'cause I have it here.
Yes.
Do you want me to just
And
go through those questions?
well, I need to send you because the first question is I wanted to hear your opinion about the newsletter I'm sending when I'm trying to offer some domain to somebody.
Okay, you
So
can
I'll
post
send you
it in
that.
the window.
Okay.
If it's just a paragraph or whatever it is, or you can send me a link and I can go, whatever it's easier for you.
Oh, it's right here. I'll just send it to 1 second. Okay, it's right here in the, I don't know, did you guys get it?
Yes.
It's a group call.
It's an email you want to send out.
Well, I've been sending it out to people to offer different domains.
Okay.
Okay, let me just open it up so I can see it. Okay, dear Chris Schilling, my name is Dimitar. I'm a domain broker with Super Domain, an asset that I think might be of interest to your company. And okay, too long, first of all. Too long
Okay.
and too much information about your company in the beginning. Ideally, you want to get to them shortly. A company that you're selling it to doesn't really care about related sales. They either want it for their business or they don't. So, and they don't care about stats. They don't need to know what the cost per click is because they're probably not going to understand that if they're an end user. This is an email you would send to somebody who's in the domain business because those are the only people that care about stats. So probably what I would say is something more simple like the domain. I would put the subject as let me see, it's 98144.com is available for purchase, and then I would say, dear Chris, and personalize it more. Get rid of his last name because otherwise it's more like spam. You don't know who he is. Dear Chris, I'm writing to let you know that the domain name 98144.com is available. The company that was using it before no longer requires it, and it's going up for auction, and we thought that you would be one of the parties that could be interested in this domain name. So that's why I'm reaching out to you. Please let me know if you have any interest in acquiring it, or go to this link to make a bid and then put the Sato link or some other link that you may have if there is one. If not, just reach out and let me know. They don't need to know a lot of this. You can leave the I'd love to discuss this opportunity of acquiring the asset with you, but it's more of a short thing like you'd be writing to a buddy. Let me know if you have any interest in it, and I'll help you secure it, or something simple. So stats are no good for end users because they don't understand them. Related sales, again, they don't care. So
Yes.
the signature is fine though. The signature is fine. I would drop your domain name because you don't want to let them know that you're working for a company that buys and sells domain names. So for now, I would drop the. You can use the email address, but I wouldn't show it in the email.
Okay.
And that's about it. I mean, basically, you're just trying to say, look, you've got this asset. If it's available and you're interested, call me. And you're kind of like the middleman in this situation because it looks that way. You don't look like you're a salesman. You look like you're trying to match up a domain with a person or company that would have a better use for it than you do, or a better use than the last person. So
Okay, got just the signature makes sense and all the rest I'm changing it.
well, no, but that's okay. Listen, I mean, you'll know based on the feedback that you get that sometimes shorter is better. If you get a long story, you kind of zone out, especially if there's stuff that doesn't really apply to you or that you're not going to understand. So the company that was using it is no longer in business. We're reaching out to companies who may have a use for this domain name. If you're interested, get a hold of me, kind of thing. I mean, that's as simple as you want it if you want people to respond. And then a lot of them will respond, will say, well, what's the price? So then you know at least you have them interested, and now you have to figure out what their price point is. and then you can go from there. You want to leave it a little bit more open-ended. Sometimes if you put a price, also it scares them, because if I see something like that and I'm interested in buying this domain name, but you're telling me the last one sold for $55,000, I'm scared because I'm not going to spend $55,000 on this domain name. So you don't want to put anything too scary into it right away.
Yeah.
You may want to put something in, and I like to put in, look, so let's say that was, I don't know, Atlanta gardeners, okay, or Atlanta landscapers. By owning this domain name, you could have an extra 50 people a day come to your website that are looking for gardeners in Atlanta. That's a direct benefit to them right away, and it shows them how they can convert that 50 people. Maybe I convert 1 or 2 of those into customers, and that's more of a direct benefit than anything else. So you want to break it down into, so summarizing, you don't care about the how many 500,000 results at $255 a click, but if you say, look, I install sprinklers in Philadelphia or wherever, and I can send you 60 possible clients based on the traffic, that they understand. That's easy for them. So basically you're sending them possible leads. And there you go. And that would be a little bit better for you. And you're going to get this interview on, Rick, you're taping it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have to write. So listen, it's not bad, believe me. I mean, you're first of all, your English is great, so it's not that. It's just that it's the stats that you want to give them. You don't want to overwhelm them too badly, and you want to just keep them where you want them. So the second question, Estibat value. Can I use it as a sales price? And if not, which tool? There's really no tool you can use to give yourself a sales price for Estibat. As a matter of fact, there's only a few columns that I tend to look at on Estibat. So I'll tend to look at the appraised value, which is what you're talking about. I'll also look at the search volume and how many advertisers there are. And then the last thing I'll look at is the cost per click. And I'll go by that. I actually just did that because we're doing a Domain Sherpa review later on this afternoon. So those are the columns I look at. And no, you can't really use the appraised value to make your price. One of the things you should do, and I wouldn't look at comparables either, because a 4-letter word, whether it's worm.com or XFZQ, they're not the same. So what I would tend to do is think about what you paid for it and what you'd be happy selling it for. And then you can decide based on any stats if you need to go up or down or whatever you think you need to do. But I mean, the best way to do it is honestly to pop up somebody like me on Skype and just say, hey, can you give me what you think about this domain name? And I'll gladly help you out and give you what I think you should sell it for. And there's different prices based on whether you're selling or whether you're buying as well. So you need to keep that in mind. But unfortunately, there's no real tool to say this is the right price that you should be selling it for, because you can also adjust your price based on who your buyer is. If your buyer is a big company like Coca-Cola or McDonald's, you know that they have a little bit more money to spend on a domain name than maybe, I don't know, a single person who's basically on their own and using their own email. So the most important thing you can do to figure out the price is research the buyer and research why they want it. If they've already set up a company based on the name of the domain name, you know it's in more demand and they need to get it a lot more than somebody else that you may have cold called. I've had that happen before where I sold a domain name to this company in Alberta, and when I researched them, I saw they already announced that this 4-letter domain name is going to be the new name of their company, so I knew I could sell it for pretty much anything I needed. So the research you do is far more valuable than any pricing tool. The pricing tools are really almost like just an ego boost for you. So if you see one and you've got it at 38,000 or 80,000, it makes you feel good, but it doesn't actually get you that money, obviously. So I don't tend to take them into evaluation. And sometimes when we do the review on Domain Sherpa, we may see a domain valued at 0, and we may value it at 20 or 30,000 because we can see the potential. So you just really have to look at it from a few different perspectives. And then your next question is appraised value versus wholesale value. Which is closest to my sale price? None, really. It's kind of like what we just talked about. There's a different price. If you're selling a domain to a domainer or a reseller, obviously they're looking for a bargain. They're looking for a lower price. You want to target, if you're going to target anything, you want to target the appraised value only because you're trying to sell to end users. So you want to make sure that that's who your target is. But again, each domain is created individually, and you need to look and figure out who and what, where, why, and a lot of times if you can answer who, why, you'll know how to price it a little bit better. Mm-hmm. Next one, Orange, ORAN-GE.com, Estibat value.
Yeah, why is this for value 72K? And
You know, I don't know what it's seeing there. I don't see it at all. You're never going to get anything close to 72K for it. It's just one
yeah,
of those flaws in the system where you really never know why. So you just can't go by that. And it's really not, obviously it's not worth 72K unless it means something in different language. But domains with dashes usually aren't near as valuable.
yeah.
So it's just a flaw in the system. Not every algorithm is going to be correct, and not everyone is going to be wrong, but a lot of them are going to be close to what they think you should get for them, but there's no exact solution for it.
So what
I
do you think
sold.
is the value
Go
of
ahead.
that domain? What do you think is the value of that domain, and do you think there will be any interest at all?
I don't. No, I don't think there'll be any interest in it. I would say that you can see. Have you ever had any offers on it? Probably not.
No, no. I was just surprised from the estimate, and that's why
Yeah.
I wanted to
You
see
know,
your.
there probably won't be any offers on it, but if there's any offers at 1,000 plus, I would take it. But I think you're going to be holding that one for a while, or deciding to drop it on your own. I sold 666.pw, but still my info is there. What can I do to have them change it? Well, you can email them. What I would do is email them and tell them that the information needs to be changed. Just tell them, look, you own the domain name. You need to change the information to you or to privacy, or at least put under privacy for now, because the domain's not mine. I don't want the inquiries on it, and they should change it. So, and if they don't, well, you can get a hold of the registrar and ask the registrar to have them change it because you sold it to them and it's not the right information. And then they'll send them a letter to change it.
Yeah, the interesting information. The interesting is that I'm still the owner, according to the who is.
Which is
So-
really bad, because if you were an unscrupulous seller, you could just transfer it back to yourself. So luckily you're not, but they should. It's in their best interest for them to change it.
That's
so
an argument to change it, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good argument to change it, but you don't want to tell them that you're even thinking about that. So how can I register .ca domains? They want a Canada address. So the legal way to register Canadian CA domains is you either have to be a Canadian citizen, or you have to spend about $200 or $150 to register a company in Canada, and then you can just put them under the Canadian company name. That's what most people do for corporations. They'll just set up a company here for $150 and just put it in the company name. And then you can register as many as you want. The next one, I have an adult domain name, gepime.bg. 300 direct visits a day. What would you recommend to monetize that traffic? Okay, first of all, you have to tell me what it means.
Kind of get me, catch me, something like that.
Oh, that's not bad. Get me or catch me. That could even be a dating site. It doesn't necessarily mean to be an adult domain name.
Well, because .com is like for adult, how to meet, you know, those type of people.
Is
and that's why,
it spelled the same way with .com?
Yes, it's spelled the same way. It's just .com.
So
but because it's a Bulgarian website and people like .bg, I have a lot of direct traffic. You know.
But it's an adult website. Let me just go take a quick look and see what it is.
You have to register.
Oh yeah, I see. But it looks a little bit like, okay, so it's, listen, they're hot girls. There's no nudity, but
yeah, it's not really.
but they've got a lot of ads like get credit loans and meet singles and stuff like that. It actually looks like this is a landing page. This is a landing page to me. This isn't really a site.
The .com one?
Yeah, no, I'm on the wrong one. Hold on. I was on yours for some reason. The .com one is, it's loading. The .com one is an app for it too. Yeah, it's kind of like, what's that app that we have where you meet people, Rick? Do you have an app like that?
Yeah.
I forget it is, and you swipe people you like and swipe people you don't like. I forget what it is, but
Is it Tinder or something like that?
yeah, it's something like a Tinder app, but definitely hardcore nudity on here too. It's not just pretty faces. Anyway, it's interesting. So something like that. I'm just trying to let me just see who it is for adult traffic, because I've used them before, and they're pretty good and they monetize well. Traffic. I'm pretty sure it was.
Right, and it doesn't really make any money at all.
Doesn't make anything?
Yes.
Let me just see what it. I'll take a look through my notes and we'll send it to you after the call. But I know there was a company that did specifically adult traffic. I'm just looking to see if I have it here. I think it's Traffic Club. TrafficClub.com.
Okay, I'll check it.
Check that out. I know they do a lot of adult stuff, so I think that would be the one. Traffic Club. It used to be run by Moniker back in the days, I think, but I'm not positive. I know. Anyway, that's the one to stick with. It'll be the one to take a look at. Next question.
It's not traffic. It's maybe some other.
Yeah, I'll find it. I'll find it and send Jeff the show. How can I see who has info on privacy protected domain names? So the only way to do it is to go to Domain Tools, and they have the history of everything else. But there's a couple other ones. There's one that my buddy Luke runs, and I think it's free. Let me take a look. It's Estobot. I'll go. It's by the same people that make Estobot, and I'm just gonna go look it up now. And I know he does the Who Is as well. I just got to find out where it is. Bulk domain. I'm just going to look it up now and see which tool it is that he has. Who Is. If you go to Estobot and you put in the Who Is, it'll give you the information. Let me just do one of my domains and test it out. And then I know it'll give me the site that actually stores all the history. And I think it's free for the first couple, and you can sign up after that. It's called DomainIQ.com.
Yeah,
DomainIQ.com, and that's where to get a lot of the history, and it shows. I mean, for the domain that I'm trying now, it says that there's lots of different Who Is records. So use that, and it'll give you a whole bunch of information.
Okay.
And if you have any trouble or you're looking for a specific one, let me know, and I can help you find the information. How do you protect 6- and 7-figure value domain names? Okay, what do you mean protect? Like from theft?
Yes.
So what I tend to do is obviously I lock them, and I set up a two-part authentication process. I know Uniregistry has that, where you have to enter a PIN code using Google Authenticator, so nobody can actually get a hold of the domain name or even log into your account without it. So use something like that. A couple of the registrars offer it. The only one that I know I've used is Uniregistry, and I know it works really great. But you have to keep the app on your phone, but it's available for iPhone and for Android. So that's what I use, and it makes it easy, and I haven't lost a name in years and years. But and then the other thing I do is to make sure, because I think a really good domain name somebody dropped this week by accident. I forget what it was, but make sure that, it was, I'll have to look, but it was a really good name. It was dropped this week. Make sure that you renew any domain names that you think are really valuable for at least 5 years out, so you don't have to worry about accidental renewal drops and things like that. It happens a lot. You'd be surprised. It was Merlin Kaufman that dropped one this week, and it was a really good one. I'm just looking to see what it is, and it's one of those names that you really don't want to lose, and it was all over the blogs. He dropped it by accident. Projects.com dropped.
I mean, yeah, I saw that one, checking the Estobot every day, but how does it work? I mean, people immediately get them when they post the Excel file?
Like this one's going to go through drop channels and things like that. It was caught by SnapNames, so SnapNames is going to auction it off, but I mean, he definitely lost it. So unless he pays a fortune to get it back, this name's going to go for 50 to 100,000 minimum in the auction. So you got to be very careful on what you drop, and you got to secure your assets so you make sure this doesn't happen. I mean, I definitely have all my higher end domain names renewed for 5 to 10 years. Most of them, to be honest with you, they're reviewed for 8 to 10 years because I want to make sure that I don't even have to think about them.
Yeah.
When you do it like that, Adam, that means that you can sit and forget for 5 years. But then
yes,
after 5 years.
Yeah, you still have to pay attention to it. I mean, hopefully you're developing out a name like that, or you're doing something with it. But yeah, you can set and forget. But I don't tend to forget. I tend to set and then pay attention and check the list every little while to see if there's any others next year that may have come up that I need to put in that 5 to 10 year plan.
And things like auto renewal.
Auto renew is okay, but then the problem with auto renew for me is I end up auto renewing a lot of junk that I wouldn't normally want to. But yeah, you can set it on the higher end domain names, but I wouldn't want to take a chance and keep it at a year to 2 years or less than a year on something that's worth 100 or even 50K plus. You want to make sure that you've got that stuff set so you don't have to worry about it. That way you can worry about all the other ones. What I like to do is I like to sort the ones for under a year, and if can't see why to keep them for longer, then I just try to sell those ones during the year, and I concentrate on building out the other ones that I've decided. All right, you wait for an offer. You can do either, but anything that's really good, I've got renewed for at least 7 years. I mean, it's only $70 or whatever it is, so it's worth locking it up so you don't have that headache of losing a projects.com that could drive you crazy.
Okay, so I wanted, if possible, I don't know what time we have. Do we have any limit? To review my portfolio, and before that to say your opinion about a listing on Flippa. I put this 98144. So here is the link to Flippa, and then I'll send my domains if you can. The domains that I bought after May.
Sure.
If you can.
So 98144. You've put it up there. You've got a reserve on it. We won't talk about what the reserve is. So again, this is put up. Okay, putting up stats here makes sense because it's probably domainers you're going to get looking at it, so it's fine. I don't know if it's going to go too high because probably Seattle has lots of area codes, or zip codes, sorry. Area codes. I'm just looking how many they have. But it depends. I mean, if it's a not area codes, zip codes. Depending on what it is, like I know if it was Bainbridge Island, I know Mike Seiger would buy it for sure, because that's the area that he lives in. But yeah, I've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 20. Yeah, I've got tons of them for Seattle.
Okay.
Tons. So it's just one of many, but it's probably, I mean, it could be a good one. I don't really know. We'll just basically have to see what it sells for. And I just post around, like on the forums, that you've got this zip code for sale and direct them to the auction if they're interested in bidding.
Okay.
That's about all you can do because there's lots of them going on, and it looks like there's about 60 some odd in Seattle.
Okay, so here is a list of the domains that I got from May until now. You don't have to say about anything about all of them, but just the ones you think. The first one, especially, I wanted to see because the estimate value is 0 for UHDchannels.com, but it's a new technology that is in India and in England already. So I thought that might be a good domain.
I'm going to check now. UHD channels. Yeah, I see the first search that comes up is India. Ultra high def channels. Yeah, I think this one's going to be good. I mean, it's got 509,000 search results. This one's got possibility. The question is, what type of business would be interested in buying it? And that's a tough one. Unless it's a cable service, I don't know who it would be. So you always have to look at what type of business would be interested in buying the domain name, and that usually narrows down the pool of buyers that it can attract. Like things like water attraction, that could be any sort of water park or something like that. Jobs Lisbon, okay, that could be any job board. It could be Workopolis, it could be any large job board that wants to set something up in Lisbon. So there's stuff like that. The ones that you have, like your 2 and 3 number domain names, the MKs, PWs, ALs, and RS, definitely keep those. Those have value, and they'll continue to have value. Beachview Apartments, it's a good name. That's a great name for a lead generation site. And I'm just scrolling through some of these. Frankfurt Apartments, also great name. Cologne, Bratislava, Athens. These are all good ones. I think we've talked about this before. But all of these ones should, some of them, at least build out 1 or 2 into lead generation sites. Hook up with a real estate agent in that specific city and forward some leads to them so you can make money off every lead that comes in once the site gets indexed. Especially in cities like Frankfurt and Lisbon and Istanbul where they're giant. Probably Madrid, and I don't know about Athens based on the Greek economy right now, but Madrid would be good, Frankfurt would be good, Hamburg would be good, Vienna, Sofia, yeah, Stuttgart.
There are major cities.
Yeah, most of them are quite good.
Yeah.
What's your estimate for some of them?
Well, the problem is you can make a lot. It's not a problem. It's a good problem. You can make a lot of money doing the lead generation for them if you hook up. Because I've done that with a real estate broker, and worked out a percentage like 20% of his commission, which is a lot when it's real estate. But I think selling the domain names, minimum they're worth about 5K each, but in 3 to 5 years that'll go up to about 20 to 25K each. They're all really good domain names. No, they're all really good domain names, the apartments, for sure. Definitely. So, I mean, you've got a decent portfolio here. Again, some of them you have to be careful with the grammar because English is sometimes like some of these things like, even Travel Miami's not bad, but there's a couple where you got to make sure that the words are in front. Like Milan Jobs would have been better than Jobs Milan. But it is what it is. I mean, you get what you get. So, I mean, there's some good ones in there for sure.
Okay. So, what about this Houston, Texas auto insurance? Estibot shows that the cost per click is $88. So maybe lead generation website trying to bring in some advertising.
Yeah, I mean, does it get any traffic? Probably not a lot.
No.
Yeah, so then you'd have to do lead generation. You'd have to hook up with an insurance company in Texas, in Houston. Rick, we have our buddy there that we worked with Troy. He lives in Houston, so maybe he'd be a good guy to work with here.
Yeah.
What's his name? I forget it.
Give me a second.
Tall, giant guy.
Yeah, I know.
He may be good to work with here because he could probably set it up for you. Eugene. He's got lots of connections. He lives in Houston, so it wouldn't be hard for him to find a partner for you. And he's a nice guy. I'm sure he would do it for nothing.
Okay, sounds good. So what about like treasure bet and water attraction? What's your estimate on these?
You know, unfortunately, I don't put a lot into some of those. You've got a better chance with something like Go MILF because it's short and because people know what it is, and a lot of people want to go MILF. So I heard another term you may want to look at today. It was a really sexy grandmother who looked like she was about 30, and it was they call them GILFs apparently, grandmother's side. So go GILF, who knows? Not my cup of tea, but there's all kinds of interesting people in this world.
Build a business on that.
Yeah, could be, yeah. But anyway, so that's definitely something you want to look at. There's lots you can do. I mean, but yeah, no, I'm not too keen on many of the other ones. Okay. So eventually, either just sell them to the first guy that comes along, or think about dropping them. Not all of them. Like Liquid Domains is good. Consulting.bg is good. I'm talking about the ones in the top are like Sex Appointment, Sex Invitation, Find Sex Trip. Things. Actually, Find Sex Trip may be good for. Where do they all go? They all go to South America, or they all go to the Philippines for those kind of trips. But I don't know. Let's see how it goes. But Beachview Apartments is nice. Go MILF is good. I don't really get Treasure Bet that much, but it's okay. And then the 4-letter ones, those will eventually sell for sure anyway. So overall, it's pretty good. Your Paula Abdul one, I don't think I'd keep that because it's a trademark issue. Could be a trademark issue. So, but the rest of them are okay.
All right. What's the minimum I should sell the 4-letter ones for?
200 a piece minimum, and who knows, you can go higher than that depending on what the letters are and how much somebody's interested. So.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, I don't have any more questions.
No problem. Well, if you do, I'll be around, and Rick will be around. So if you do have any questions, let me know.
Oh, you still have time left, so.
Well, we can add it to the next one. So
exactly,
yeah,
you can.
You got lots of time for lots more questions and things like that. So no problem.
Yeah, you guys keep record of that.
Yeah.
No, I don't keep record of it. Rick does.
I do.
But it doesn't matter if you go over time.
But you came well prepared this time, so.
Yeah. Well, like said, 2 months.
I think you get more out of it. And the next time, Dimitar, you have to put the sign a little bit higher.
So we can advertise.
you can advertise it now. You're in front of the of your sign.
No problem.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Well, it's nice seeing you again, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again shortly.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for chatting.
I will send you a link to the video afterwards when I have uploaded it to share somewhere.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.